purpose of this session is to help you understand and interpret your ALP results. And let's start with your dashboard page. The dashboard page has the purple triangle or pyramid in the middle of the page, the purple bar below that, and then the 3 bars below that. This is meant to indicate or demonstrate to you where your scores lie when you consider all 3 motive needs. It also gives you an estimation of your current degree of self-actualization. The numbers in the parentheses are normed percentiles based on thousands and thousands of administrations of the ALP. So you can say with confidence, if you have a 99, for example, if you took 100 people at random and you lined them up shoulder to shoulder, a 99 would be all the way over a 3rd standard deviation from the average, meaning it would be a very strong or intense need for you. 2, on the other hand, a score of 2, a norm percentile would be very low. In the case here that we have, you can see a lot of red on this individual's dashboard. They score in the intense range for affiliation, and that's why the affirmer style in the red is all the way. They score moderate in achievement and mild in asserter, which is the need for power, while you see the lower or smaller green and blue circles. Finally, on this page here, look at the purple bar across the top. Mild, moderate, strong, or intense that estimates your current level of self-actualization. When you move your self-actualization score into the intense range, irrespective of how much green, red, or blue you have on your page, you then become what I call either an actualized achiever, an actualized affirmer, or an actualized asserter, depending on what your highest motive need score is. So that's the first part of the report that's crucial for understanding your motive need composition and where you are with regard to your current degree of self-actualization. These following pages are the shadow pages for your style. Green is the fear of failure shadow for an achiever, red is the fear of rejection shadow for an affirmer, and blue is the fear of betrayal shadow for an asserter. You can see here again where you are at your best actualized and where you're likely to go at your worst when your shadow is activated. The important part here is to understand the shadow cycle beneath this. If we start with the achiever, we can look at one example here, the thought that you have to always be perfect. That leads to feelings of being inadequate, and that results in behaviors of becoming obsessive and nitpicky. The reason it's laid out for you like this is because in order to break this cycle, you can't start with the behavior. You can't even start with the emotion. You have to understand the thoughts that trigger the emotion that lead to the behavior. And these are given as examples. So you can, if you're an achiever, you can look at the green sheet for the fear of failure. If you are an affirmer, the red sheet here shows the shadow cycle, different thoughts, different feelings, different behaviors. But again, the same holds true. You've got to get out ahead of the thought and understand how that's driving emotions that trigger behaviors. And for the asserter, again, the same model, the cycle there, understanding the thoughts. For example, if you look down at the bottom there, I am right. Well, that causes feelings of arrogance, and it causes behaviors such as being outspoken, autocratic, trying to maneuver, always winning every argument. And what asserters often find is they may win the battle, but ultimately lose the war. The third part of the ALP report is the 9 attributes, understanding your score in the 9 attributes. Here they are defined for you and organized by domain: cognition, emotion, and behavior. The 3 cognitive elements of an actualized leader are thinking objectively, thinking with a hyper focus, and being mindful in the moment, which is what I call optimal time orientation, or OTO. The 3 emotional characteristics or attributes of actualized leaders are courage, trust, and acceptance. And acceptance refers to self-acceptance, something that Maslow often stated was the most important gift you could ever give yourself, was to accept yourself once and for all. And then finally, the 3 attributes in the behavior domain: candor, flow, and solitude. These are all defined for you, and if you turn to the next slide or look at the page in your report, you can see that your 9 attributes are scored by domain. So the top 3 you get an overall score in the yellow bar, the orange yellow bar for your overall cognitive score, how actualized leaders think. In the middle, you get an overall score with the blue bar on how actualized leaders feel with those three attributes beneath. And then at the bottom of the page in the green bar, again, you get an overall score for the behavior or the doing with those three attributes below that. So the 9 attributes are presented to you in that way. But the very end of your report, they are reconfigured, same attributes, same scores, but they're reconfigured to give you a score in what I call the 3 sequences of self-actualization: confidence, performance, and renewal. In these 3 sequences, we link one cognitive attribute with one emotional attribute with one behavioral attribute. The confidence sequence is the objective, thinking objectively, feeling courageous, and speaking with candor. When you link one cognitive, one emotional, and one behavioral, you're going to get a score for each of these sequences. Confidence is first. The performance sequence is thinking with hyper-focus, trusting yourself and others, and then performing in what is known as the flow state. Csikszentmihalyi, famous researcher from the University of Chicago, or it's also known as peak performance. So what is the cognitive, emotional, and behavioral state of performance? It's focus, trust, and flow. And then finally, the last sequence is that of renewal. The renewal sequence, which requires thinking with OTO, being mindful in the present, self-acceptance, and experiencing solitude. Those are the 3 elements, one cognitive, one emotional, one behavior, that make up the renewal sequence for actualized leaders. And if you look on the last page of your report, you'll see same attributes, same scores, but now presented differently. You get an overall score for that sequence. You get the first one at the top is for confidence, the one in the middle is for performance, and the third at the bottom is for renewal. And you can see there the attributes that make that up as you go through this. This is an opportunity for you maybe to begin saying, here's the attribute I need to work on. I'm going to start with this. Again, the Resource Development Guide is there to support you.